Hawk Talk. I am the Hawk. Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about it's your choice, right? We have a lot of different choices to make throughout the day, whether it be career, personal, fitness, whatever the case is. And whether the election, whatever kind of election's going on, who's the president and so forth. I mean, that's one of the things I think we need to really understand is that we have the choice to do whatever we really like. Obviously you have to make some hard choices, whether it be, responsibility or taking an extra job to make ends meet, whatever the case is. Obviously I know you're in some tight spots, but for the most part, you get to make your choice, so just make sure that you're aware of that. Sometimes you can get into a situation where you just feel like you don't have any choice whatsoever, and you really do. You can decide to have a positive outlook. You can decide to get into whatever you're trying to get into if you're not doing that currently. So another thing I want to talk to you about is mental conditioning. Mental conditioning. And I think that goes a lot with the choices that you make. Oftentimes I think the successful people are able to make choices that maybe makes them intimidated or worried or scared or whatever the case is, but they do it anyway, So the mental conditioning, in my opinion, is something where you get all fired up and get motivated and you're ready to go and destroy the world, and within a week you go kind of right back to your old habits and old problems and old complaining and blah, 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 blah. So with that being said, mental conditioning is very important too. If you get hyped up for something, or if you're really excited about, changing something in your life, make sure you stick to it and make those habits to create that transition from, your old habits to your new habits, because that's going to be what really is going to bring you to that next level. So make sure you're doing that. Mental conditioning is super important. And also too, just remember that, I think one of the things that, at least that I struggle with is, the identity or who you're supposed to be, and sometimes what you do is you actually create this idea of who you think you're going to be, and that will actually subconsciously kind of create your actions. So what I mean by all that is really try to just figure out who you are. Self-awareness, right? We've gone over that a little bit. Make sure you understand what your strengths and what your weaknesses are, but also at the same time, when you kind of realize who you are, don't let that define who you can be. I think that that's a very big statement that a lot of people need to grasp is, as you're changing, you might change completely from somebody that you were 2 years ago, and that's okay. So there's a lot of, Eric Thomas talks about it, there's a lot of beauty before death. The leaves change right before they die. So I think that that's one of the things, at least that I experienced in this last competition, and just being observant of my awareness as time has progressed here in 34 years of short life. I found that to be the case, that a lot of the times when you really want to quit, you just keep going a little bit longer and it really pays off. So those are the 3 topics I wanted to talk about today. I got the tree going on here, getting ready for Christmas. Hey, we won another one against the Jets last night. Sorry, Gary V. But we will talk to you soon. I am the Hawk.
We do.
Check you later.
What we do for good reasons.
I mean, anything that you choose, any adventure that you choose to go on in life is going to be risky, but this just happens to be one that some of us choose to throw ourselves into. How to make decisions about things that you're not sure about. How do you decide on what to do when you've got a vision, but the path isn't very clear, right? And oftentimes we're chosen with 2 paths, right? You get out of high school, you choose, well, do I go to the Army or do I go to college? Right? There's always these types of decisions to make, and we always have to go into deep contemplative modes and engage in activities that support us in making decisions. So my 3 steps. Number 1, your first step is to contemplate. Yes, take the time, right away, instantly. When you're not sure what to do, the worst thing you can do is to act spontaneously in circumstances like this. Take your time, I say sleep on it. And while you're sleeping on it, I want you to consider this one question. What is the worst that could happen if I choose A? And can I live with it? And then you ask yourself the same thing with decision B. What is the worst, absolute worst, that could possibly happen if I choose B? Could you deal with it? The next step, after you've contemplated and dug deeply into the question whether or not I can handle the worst that could happen, you now have to choose. But you choose with a fucking sword. Bang! Right? You do this by creating a deadline for yourself. You say, all right, this is enough. Tomorrow, I choose. And when you choose, you put your foot down. You take that axe and you chop off any other options but the one that you know you're gonna do. And that's it, no turning back. That's the key. Once you make that decision, the other half of the decision, the other choices, the other things you could have done, you completely ignore. You throw it away. You never turn back and look again, because it'll only make you sick, indecisive, gray, on the fence, and weak. You choose hard. That's it. They call it burning the boats. There is no back door. There's no way back. You jump, and then you learn to fly. And that's the third step. The third step is to make your decision right. You burn the boats and you make the damn thing work. Right? You make it work. But there's a trick to making things work that I'd like to share with you. A magical perspective. A magic wand that you can wave over the choices that you've made in order to make them right every single time without fail. Successful people don't make the right decisions. They make their decisions right by always seeing the silver lining, by always seeing what they've learned along the way.
Every life comes with a death sentence. But until then, who's in charge? Me.